Good evening, everybody. We're going to get going very shortly. Thank you for your patience. If anybody's on YouTube, then I can't see the chat, so I'm unable to answer your questions, but you're more than welcome to join us in the webinar. I'm giving you the link there in the chat. All right, we'll get going in a couple of minutes, so thank you for your patience. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this evening's ACY Securities webinar, Live Forex Market Review. My name is Duncan Cooper. Before we get into it, if you can read through the risk disclaimer, that would be great. Any questions to the question box, I've got the chat box open too. So please read through the risk disclaimer. I'm going to be giving you some analysis, some levels that I'm watching tonight, but everybody's responsible for their own actions and their own trading decisions. All right, let's move along. If you don't know me, my name is Duncan Cooper. I'm the Senior Market Strategist and Trading Mentor here at ACY Securities. And I'm a full-time trader. Been trading for more than 15 years. If you want to contact me, my email address is on screen, duncan.cooper@acy.com. If you want to connect with me through the week at our websites, acy.com Market News tab, you'll get me there. At our ACY Securities Australia YouTube channel, you can get me there. And you can connect with me personally if you wish on Twitter and LinkedIn. My handle's there on screen. As well through the week, within our Telegram channel, I'm providing analysis based around the webinars, education that I provide, giving you trend determination, support and resistance, and levels that I'm watching to try and trade around during the day. If you want to get access to that or access to my chart layouts, which you'll see here and in my charts in a moment, then simply contact nathan.bray at acy.com. I'll put his details in the chat now before we get into it. So just bear with me. All right, that's in the chat. All right, before we get into the charts, we'll have a quick look at what's coming out in the news. Tonight we've got the 10:30 p.m. US fully fed manufacturing index coming out, employment claims, and then nothing too much after that for the rest of the week, just minor items. So an item there at 10:30 p.m. All right, with that in mind, let's get to the charts. Just want to click through and see what's going on. If you attended the webinar last night on 79% fib retracement pattern, then I'm just going to flick over to the euro yen. This is my 4-hour chart, and I've drawn a fib from high to low, and we're at a 79% fib level, or we've been failing, testing, failing. We broke above this 4-hour high here, failed, and then we've come back up and retested on the last 4-hour candle. Are we failing at the 79% fib level? Just dropping down to 15. At the moment, this 137.49 level, if I go to my monthly chart, you go left, it's this top over here. So we're kind of underneath that top, trading at that top at the moment, testing it through the course of the day. Is that acting as resistance for traders to deal around today? In any event, on the 4-hour chart at the moment, we've rallied back up to a 79% area. It's an area where you could look to engage, stop above the high, or you could look to the 15-minute chart for an entry. So there's a level to watch. If you like the level, obviously you can trade around it. And back to the 4-hour. If we do hold here, then an obvious target level would be the 0 level, or down to the 127 extension where we've got some support, monthly support down at that level there. Okay, we might hop over into the dollar yen as well. I'll use these charts. And I posted this in the Telegram today, looking at this potential area for the market to hold at. Hasn't quite held there, but it is holding within the fib structure that I drew in from this high to low. So before I get into that fib structure, what I'm seeing is that on the monthly charts, if you squash in, there's a monthly top here at 135.16, if my memory serves me properly. And today's chart, we are at that level here. There's another daily chart level up here that we've hit. So this is a little bit range bound. Of course, we can move through this area. But are we going to hold at the area? All right, so this 4-hour chart trend is still up. In the area between 135.16 and 135.57, we have monthly daily resistance. Is that an area where we're going to potentially hold at? This larger move, just want to know where the 62% level is. We're not quite there yet, but we've got resistance there. Is the market going to hold there for a move down? Well, time will tell. Just need to work out whether you want to engage in that area. That move down, we've moved up to the 79% level of that small range. Are we failing here to move down? Or, you know, over the last 10 candles, we can see some form of supports coming on 135.16 there. So at the moment, if we're looking, you know, if I was looking to engage on that pair to the short side, if we thought I was failing in this area, I'd like to see price move below 135.16 now, come back up to retest to be resistance, and then as it starts to falter there, look up for an opportunity to trade down. At the moment, it is dealing above 135.16, so I would be looking to see whether or not it wants to move back below. Of course, if you've got the more upwardly mobile bias and you think this is going north from here, well, we're on monthly support now. Potentially at the moment, that monthly level is acting as some form of support. This could be where you want to be buying to move up. So that level at 135.16 has the potential to be support or resistance. Intraday just now, it's maybe looking a little bit more like support, but I'd prefer to trade down because I've got monthly and daily resistance up here. And of course, back to my 4-hour chart here, I'm at the top of this range. So I don't want to trade into resistance, but I'd like to trade down if we failed. I'm not quite sure whether it's really showing a failure there at the moment. I'd like it to get back below 135.16, okay? All right, I'm going to go back to my other charts. I just want to click through them all. Just in my head, have an idea where we're at. Cover the euro yen. All right, what we've had early between Frankfurt and London, we were already trading down and we've kind of put in an interim bottom for the day and we're moving back up. A lot of these pairs are still in downtrends. It's just a question of where they're moving back up to at the moment. All right, I'm just going to go through the dollar index, then we'll get into the pairs. So the dollar index, go to the weekly charts. We've got monthly resistance levels up here that we've head butted and we pull back, and the structure on the weekly chart is still holding to up, and we've got some form of support from this top here. And we're having a week up. So this 4-week pullback may have come to an end. We may be putting in a higher bottom there to move further up on that dollar index. So potentially dollar index strength coming in, dollar strength coming in. We're just trying to maybe move above the last lower top that got formed over the last 4 weeks. S&P 500 on the day chart here, we're still a little bit bullish. On the day chart, we're testing this as a monthly level of resistance from the monthly chart. This low here, 42.68. We're testing that level here at the moment. Can we move above it, or are we going to fail there? So we are seeing a little bit of US dollar positivity now, and stock market's still showing some positivity. All right, Saparbek, I can see you got your hand up. If you've got a question, just type it in. If not, that's fine. You might just be saying hello. All right. So I'm just going to go through. Aussie Yen's been moving up intraday. We go to the 4-hour chart. I'm going to go to my other charts because I've got the level already drawn in that I've been discussing. Possible head and shoulder pattern forming. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder here. We've been moving down. Now we're getting some form of support in the London session. There's a low here that we might be getting some intraday buy bias from. So, and these two lines, they are day chart support or resistance. We've been below today. Are they going to act as resistance today to move down? We're coming up to the upper band, 93.88. This low just there. So what I would be noticing here is drawing a fib from that high to low across that range. 62 levels, just a little bit above 9400, 9404. So for me, if we are going to hold the downtrend, this is just some form of corrective. This is corrected until we know different. Within the 4-hour structure here, if this is a right shoulder to the left shoulder here, is this coming up to put in a lower top to that top? A logical level could be the 62 level and the figure. You can watch that level to see what unfolds. We can see the last 50-minute candle rejected 93.88, so maybe 93.88 might start to hold the market here to trade down as well. So a couple of levels there to watch. At the moment, I'm just thinking we've moved down, putting in that right shoulder on the 4-hour chart. This is a bit of corrective move, giving traders potentially the opportunity to trade down within the overall move down. If I pop back to my other charts now, you know what we were discussing last night in the 79% fib retracement webinar is that we've rallied up to 79 and held. So I'm anticipating this is going to be moving down within that fib tool, at least back down to support maybe. So what I'm thinking is that the 4-hour chart here is just giving a bit of a corrective rally. All right, might get up to the 9400 level, 62% level there. All right, it's having a bit of a headache at 93.88, which was support back here. You moved below it yesterday, it became resistance there. So in the volatility of the London session here, are we starting to hold there? We're trading below it right now, or at that level. So that level could be the rally point for the people that aren't already short to get in to trade the higher pattern on the day chart here, where we've moved back up to the 79% fib to move down. Okay. All right, moving on to the Aussie. Now, notably on the 15-minute chart, what I'm seeing is any upward moves at the moment cannot get to the central pivot point. So even though it looks like we're getting a strong rally here, we've had a bounce at 6,900. This is maybe just a bounce. We can't get to the central pivot point. In the Telegram, what I was looking at was, could price rally back up to 69.67 today? But that was when we were more here. So 69.67 would be a great level to watch for failure. It's a monthly. If I go to my day chart, you'll see it on the day chart. Go left. There's 2 monthly lows here, 1, 69.67, 69.91. When you see those on the day chart, these are these two lines here. Getting up to 69.67, that's broken monthly support, should be resistance potentially if we rally back up to that level. We may only get up to the central pivot point. You can see yesterday, I'm just going to draw in, this was a rally in New York. Kind of marries up with the central pivot point. Maybe we won't want to get above that high point there, intraday rally in New York. So central pivot point, 69.67. Central pivot point is at 69.56. So 69.56 up to 69.67, that would be a good area to watch for an opportunity to sell. Slightly saying looks like lower tops and bottoms forming there. Not sure which pair you're referring to. I didn't see your message come in. Which one are you referring to? And what? The Aussie? This one? Well, on the daily, well, on the weekly, we're putting in a potential lower top here to the last top. I just think we've finished a weekly rally here and we're starting to move down longer term. But nothing, for the last Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and down into Thursday, we've traded down. Nothing can go down forever without having some form of intraday correction. So we're having a bit of an intraday bounce at the moment, but I think we might be longer term moving down to weekly support, monthly support down here, 68.81, 67.71. But nothing will go down. If you like to use trend lines, price is kind of holding to a declining line of resistance there in general terms. All right, so maybe we're just rallying back up to where the sellers are here right now for the opportunity to trade down. If I could just redraw this a little bit. If you want to use the equidistant channel up here, might just use these lows that we've put in. All right, hopefully you're getting the picture there. We're in some kind of intraday downward channel there where, it's a bit range bound down there, but broadly speaking, it's still going down. All right, you get the idea, I'm sure. So we're at the upper reach there then of that kind of rally area where the market might want to turn back down within the overall trend that we've been seeing this week. All right, Euro Yen, covered that one already. Not moved much since I spoke about it. It's at that 79% area of that range. There's your 4-hour view once more. Euro dollar. Now, what I'm noticing on the euro dollar, yesterday's high failed at 10200. Here's a day chart look. We've moved down to supports. Day supports at 10122. Then we got monthly support at 10118. Another day support level at 10096. So it's not the best area to be a seller right now because you're getting close to support. However, drop down to weekly. We've had a 62% pullback from lower top to bottom. And we failed at monthly resistance, weekly resistance in this area here, 103.40, 103.49. I was fortunate to trade it down from 103.43. And the 4-hour look, just got short of day support. Or day support, I think it's this low here. And then monthly support's at 101.18. Day support's there at 101.22. We got down to 101.22. So there's a bit of a slight 4-hour uptrend there, but it does look to me like this upward move up through here is getting held underneath here. And when we get to the intraday chart, we failed at 10200. Now, at the moment, we've moved down early Frankfurt, London, had a bit of a strong bounce, but the central pivot point is holding. Potentially we may be intraday topping there to move back down. If we get a deeper rally, look at 10200. It clearly failed there yesterday. I would look at 10200. If we got a sharp rally back up, 10200 would be a great level to look for failure and reversal. I'm not that keen to be a seller as we're getting lower down towards, support. You want to be in ideally with enough room to manage your entry so that if we can come down to support, hopefully it breaks, but if it doesn't, you've managed your trade effectively. All right. So it would be nice to get in up there, 10200 area, to potentially trade down for a break of the 10118 monthly support level. Will it get up to that level again? You'll have to keep watching, but we may have failed at the central pivot point already. Time will tell. But it's a bit choppy. You can see it's a bit choppy in these trading days at the moment on the euro dollar. It's moved back to the daily. It's moved back down to some form of support. Support could come in to move all the way back up. Time will tell. If we trade below yesterday's low though today, that will start to potentially form a little bit of a lower top here. And that might be the thing that starts to confirm the move further down. MACD looks like it potentially wants to cross. So I'm anticipating we're going to move down to test the low that we formed, but be aware of where support is. You don't want to trade into support. So try to sell at the top of a rally somewhere is the key. 10200 would be great. Depends if it'll give you that. All right, pound yen. Now I've been staying away from this pair because it's rather consolidatory. I know somebody in the office though sold it, and what he was looking at, that would be Nathan. He's looking at this move down to a lower bottom. I know it's bounced off weekly support down here, and it's back up to daily resistance. It's very consolidatory. However, from last night's webinar lesson, we are at the 79% area here. It has held and sold off a bit. Now it's coming back up to test it. Lots of 4-hour tops to the left. All right, and we're at that daily resistance. So you just need to make your mind up. Do you like the 79% fib level there? Of course, last night's education webinar was on the basis of we look for the 79% fib across a good range. That's an area to sell at if we're in the downtrend, to trade down, back down to the 0 level, or moving through to the 127 extension. So we're in that area of failure. You could be trading at the 79 level, stop above the high, or you're dropping down to a lower time frame to look for a tighter entry. If you start to see price fail intraday here, could be a trend line break. You can look for an entry to get a tighter entry. All right. So there is a 79% fib that the market's contending with. Is it going to hold the market? So there's a number. There's the pound yen. There's that euro yen, which is still underneath the 79 fib at the moment. 79 fib is at 137.65. All right, so 2 yen pairs at the 79% fib level. Pound dollar, it's come down and hit the 120 level today. Very much like the euro dollar, this is the weekly look, or potentially putting in the lower top here at weekly resistance from over here to the left. Just short of the 62% retracements. Day chart is put in the lower top. I think we broke that bottom tonight, so we've put in a potential lower bottom now. The thing with this pair, I haven't put in my daily levels of support, but just below here, there are monthly levels of support if you go to your monthly chart at 1986, 1958. Then we've got weekly support here at 1933. Now, you just need to be careful of where you're selling. You don't want to sell into monthly support. Of course, price can move through the support, but often it can be difficult to trade in that zone. So you always want to try to get in, if you're selling, to trade through support, to get in up above support rather than trying to trade in between little areas of support. All right, because price just tends to ping around the support. And of course, support could hold to move higher. So 4 hour, we've taken out a couple of 4 hour lows there. In fact, 3 4 hour lows. That's that day chart low point. The market's obviously got a bit of buying pressure from that area intraday. You know, you look for a rally back up to 62.79. We saw yesterday a 79% failure up here. Will it come back up for the similar pattern? Time will tell. You know, up at the 79 would be a nice level. There's some resistance to the left there at about 121.11. Can price move up to that level? You could monitor that. At the moment, when we're looking at it intraday, price action today has not got to the central pivot point. So whilst we're bouncing on support down there, any bounce, look at the last 2 candles showing wicks there. This is the Asia high. We're not wanting to get above the Asia high today. We're getting capped at the high of Asia. So that could be the high of the day for a further move down to test 120 today. Of course, central pivot point would be a good level to watch as well. You know, if I wanted to engage and I didn't care whether I got in or not today, then the best level to watch would be up at the 79% retracement level. Look left, you've got all these intraday tops, but price may well not get up there. All right, so at the moment, it's not even wanting to get to the central pivot point. So I will often look to that 79% level. And if it gets there today, okay, I could look to engage. If it doesn't, I'm not doing anything. So you have to work out for yourself. Do you want to wait for a higher rally to get in at a really good price, if it can give it to you, or do you want to engage at a lower level today? This is looking a little bit like it's fading there. I'm sure that EUR/dollar is doing the same thing. It's not wanting to get back to the central pivot point. So this rally that we've seen on a number of these pairs was the same on the Aussie. Maybe this is starting to put an intraday top in on all these pairs at the same point of the move. All right. Longer term for this pair, I think we're still moving down. We're potentially putting in a lower top on the weekly. And if we can move through these support levels, we could well come back down and challenge 117.60. So trying to get short above support would be the go, rather than trying to sell in the area where support levels are. All right, so you may have maybe got a little bit more time left before we, you know, try to engage support levels, but not too much time before, you know, the market will want to try and negotiate support levels if it wants to move down. Okay, New Zealand yen. Another one of these pairs where we failed at the 79% retracement. On the weekly chart, we're coming up from a lower bottom. Maybe we're now putting in a lower top on the weekly here at the 79% level. All right. 4 hour. It's a bit choppy on the 4 hour. Just because it's failed at the 79% level at the moment. I could draw a fib across that range. And we could welcome, you know, do we move back up to that 79% level? Do we come back up to give a retest of the largest 79% level? Time will tell. You could use a fib across that range, look for a high level to trade down from, within what looks like we're putting in a lower top on the weekly. You could draw, there's a 4 hour downtrend here. Even though it's choppy over the last 16 hours, 20 hours or so, you know, what I can see here, potential of a left shoulder, head, coming up to 79% level, lines up with this little area here. All right, so you'd have to be patient and watch to see whether the price wants to pop up to that level. But left shoulder, head, do we get a right shoulder? It's 85.29, 79% retracement level, fractionally short of the left shoulder at 85.30. Okay. Does price want to do that for you? You can monitor that over the next 24 hours, 48 hours. Price may do that. New Zealand dollar. After the interest rate decision yesterday, very much like the Aussie dollar, let's go to the weekly. We've had this 79%. Went through the webinar on the 79%, but lots of pairs at the moment showing in the 79% pattern. On the weekly, this very looks like railroad tracks failing at the 79% level to move down and lower. Next key level of support is monthly support at 62.04. And at 62.04, there's a few little daily chart levels of support, but the main level is 62.04. That's the next big barrier. If you want to get in this pair to the downside with this potential lower top forming here on the weekly, you want to get in ahead of 62.04 and be risk-free in case 62.04 doesn't want to break. So Powerback is saying, do I always use a 79% fib level for taking trades? I don't always use a 79, but the 79%, you read the webinar last night, the 79% level offers you the best risk to reward. So waiting to see if price can meet that level gives you a better risk to reward. I will trade the 62 level if I see something lining up at that level. And your other question is, why not 70? Why 79, not 62 or 50? I will trade the 62. I don't trade the 50 because more often than not, price will move up to the 62 or the 79. So I disregard the 50. I only look to trade around the 62 or the 79. All right, not the 50. But 79 offers you greater risk to reward. But I will trade the 69, sorry, the 62. I traded one of those on the Aussie Yen this week where potentially we had a head and shoulder pattern forming. All right, so New Zealand dollar, looking like we're putting in the lower top. On the weekly, we're moving down on the daily here. But 62.04 support, that's going to be the barrier for a further move down. 4-hour trend's clearly down. Now, if something comes out with the news tonight from the US and we get a bit of a pop, then look, the 79% level lines up with my daily chart resistance over here at 63.52. Will it get up to that level? We'll have to wait and see. But if it does, that would be certainly a good level to watch. So when I'm trading, I'm not just looking at price right here and going, okay, what am I doing? I don't want to be but I don't want to be selling at the bottom of a 4-hour structure move. This is quite low down within this 4-hour structure. So the higher odds trade would be to wait for a pullback. Doesn't mean to say price is going to give you that pullback, so then I have to be patient. Would be a lot better to look for that level up there if that level comes around. I don't know if it's going to come around, but if it does, that would be a great level to watch. Slide, you got a question coming in. You want me to have a look at the Euro Yen again? Yep, I pop back to that one. I'll go to my other charts for the Euro Yen. Now, I know you were looking at this range yesterday, Slav, for your 79 level, but there's a bigger range here where the market is respecting potentially a 79% level. So with this 79% level, we've got 4-hour resistance to the left, just here, just there. Prices kind of false broke that. There's a 79 level. Last candle came up, back up to the 79 level and held. This 137.49 level, if you go to your monthly chart, is a monthly old top. My commentary before was, are we now failing at the 79 to move down to the 0 level, to move down through to the 127 extension level, which is monthly support. All right. So you have the opportunity of trading at the 79 or close to it to stop above the high. You could be trying to structure a trade, on the 15-minute chart. We might get a swing point break here shortly. we might get a trend line break shortly in that area. All right, so that's pretty much my commentary there on the euro yen. We're at 79% level. Are we fading there to move down? All right, none of us knows until price does its thing, but it does. It is at resistance on the 4-hour chart here. It is at a 79% level. It offers you great risk rewards. We don't know whether it'll work or not until you take the trade. All right, so you have to work out for yourself whether you like the look of it. If you do, that's your decision. Off you go. All right. I know one of the guys at the office is taking this one today. So that doesn't mean to say that you should take it, but 79% levels at the moment are popping up all over the place. These retracement levels. So just need to make your decision. All right, I covered the New Zealand dollar. Back to my other charts. You know, that would be where I would like to be a seller within the downtrend that's forming. Whether or not that gets up there to the 79% level, time will tell. Dollar Canadian. Not much is changing here other than it still, to me, looks like it wants to move deeper down. It still wants to fail at weekly resistance, potentially. This is a lower bottom rallying up. Now we are above 29.01, which is the weekly support resistance level. This could get support there, obviously, to move higher, but we're coming up. We've been coming up from a lower bottom down here, so this could be failing at the 79. If you're going to trade potentially this failure at the 79% level, well, you can't trade at the 79% level because we're not there. But if you thought we're failing there to move down, first of all, I would look for price to break back below 129.01, which is weekly support resistance. Does it once more become resistance? We break below, we retest. Does it then become resistance intraday to trade down? All right. I don't want to sell into that line because it could be support. But if we break back below it once more, which we've been doing, like here, we break back below, we come back up, it becomes resistance. Look for price to do the same thing, break back below, comes back up, becomes resistance. That's your safer sell. Now, if you've already sold it at 79, you could be at break even already. Asking the market, will it break support? All right, somebody's asking me inverse head and shoulders on dollar CAD. Well, you could actually get, let me just get rid of that line. You could, there's that many false moves here. You could say that's a head, that's a left shoulder. So maybe you're looking for price action to come down to here to form that right shoulder to move up potentially. There's lots of ways that price could go on that pair at the moment. It's that choppy. The bigger picture trend, if you go to your weekly chart, is that structure that I've been mapping out. This pullback that we're having at the moment, or wherever it wants to finish. I'd much prefer it to come down to the 79% level where it hasn't visited yet. Does it get support there? And then want to move up. At the moment, this is very choppy. There's plenty of pairs you can trade. That doesn't look like the best pair to trade at the moment. It looks like it's just failing. He just continually wants to fail at that resistance. All right. So Barry, you're thinking, well, it might give you an inverse head and shoulders to the upside. It could. So you'd have to watch that area there, 127.67 approximately, for your right shoulder to start to form. All right. All right, I don't trade that pair because it doesn't really move too much in my trading window, but for me, I've been saying it for weeks, can it get down to 79% retracement? Engaging at the 79% retracement level to go long, you've got plenty of room to manage your trade up to a retest of resistance. All right, where it is right now, it's just at support or resistance. All right, don't need malware bytes. All right, so that's the dollar Canadian. It's still very choppy. And it might stay choppy, you know, if the interest rate differential with the US and Canada, they're raising their interest rates. I think with Canada, from memory, went up 0.75% last time. So did the US. If both sides of that pair are raising their interest rates at the same rate, when we look at, you know, holding a pair for the interest rate carry, if that's what traders are doing, if the carry is the same on each side, so sorry, if the interest rate's on the same on the same side, so there's no real carry there, you could end up with a very choppy environment because, you know, one currency interest rate is the same as the other on the other side, and you can end up with a sideways market on a given currency pair. All right, so that maybe is what we're seeing there, or all this consolidation could be clear consolidation, maybe buying. Overall, the trend is up on the weekly. This could be consolidatory buying, accumulation to move higher over time within the weekly trend that we're seeing. But we'll just have to wait and see. At the moment, though, trying to trade that is very difficult intraday. All right, we covered the dollar yen. Let's have a quick look at gold, which is falling in line with the other pairs to the US dollar that are moving down. I was looking for a potential pop back up to retest 1786 weekly resistance from over here, this support level. We moved above, we moved back below. We've had a 62% retracement, but it hasn't wanted to pop back up to 1786, and there's a bit of a minor lower top formed already. But, you know, if it comes back up to 1786, we'll look at that to be resistance to trade down from. MACD's crossing down. Structurally, it's very much like the pairs to the US dollar. It's come up to put in a lower top at the 62% retracement level, like the euro dollar's done. Like, you know, the Aussie dollar went up a little bit above 62, so did the New Zealand dollar, but they've all had weekly retracements back up to the 62 or 79% levels. Gold's no different. On the weekly structure there, it's back up to the 62, move back below weekly old support being resistance here. This could move back down to support. Getting in, be good to see a retest for our chart here. Be good to see this come up to retest 1786 and hold and turn over. Whether or not it will give you that, you'll just have to monitor. But that would be the key area to watch. Do the sellers defend that level and want to keep it moving down from that level on any retest? That's what I've been watching there. All right, everybody, any more questions? Let me just see what's going on. All right, so Aussie Yen might just get itself up to, it looks like it's struggling here, but it might just get itself up to 94. Or is it holding at the daily resistance level? You know, if you're not in, then obviously you're having to make a decision where you're going to get in, if you want to get in. That fib that I had in before. That's a very logical area, 9,400, 62% retracement, 9,404. Can it get up to there? You'll have to monitor. All right, Aussie, it's got a slight bid on it at the moment, but still very much below the central pivot point. You could watch the central pivot point up to 69, 67 monthly resistance. Can it get up there and offer you an opportunity to trade down? Euro yen's a bit flat at the moment, still wanting to stay at that 79% level though. So we do have some news coming out at 10:30. We've had an early rush down at the start of Frankfurt, made an intraday bottom just after London, and things are looking a bit quiet now ahead of the US news. Pound yen, like I said before, is at a 79% retracement level. This does look like it's holding here, but we've got the news coming out. So here we have a 79% level. This also looks like we've maybe now had a 62% rally. And Saparbek, you were asking me about the 62%. So you were with us last night in the 79% webinar. We may be failing at the 79. Then if you draw a fib across this smaller range, you can drop that down to a 15-minute chart. Just tidy up the drawing of the fib. %62 level of that fib range pretty much overlaps with the 79 and a pivot point there. And we've moved back below the figure. Day chart resistance is that holding there for a move down. You wait for a trend line break to occur, but it does look like a nice level where price might be failing. All right, pound dollar not getting any higher than that rally. And the dollar yen, as before, dollar yen has moved above this 135.16 level. And it's just starting to give a little bit of a look like once it popped above here, might be forming a little bit of a base here intraday to move higher. So whilst I posted that in the Telegram today, I want 135.16 to be resistance to trade down from. It can't sit on top of it for me to trade down from. It needs to break back below. So at the moment, it's not offering me what I'm looking for. I want 135.16 to be resistance, and it's not offering it. So if it does offer it tomorrow, for example, great. But at the moment, I don't think it is. It looks a little bit like it's getting support there to move up. But once the news comes out at 10:30, so if you got in late with me today, the news at 10:30 is the US Philly Fed Manufacturing Index. So whether or not that really will drive the market anywhere, which way, I don't know. But it's a red calendar event. I guess I'm going to be looking at does interest rate rises, is it impacting manufacturing and slowing, industry down? So you can watch like the rest of us at 10:30, see what comes out, see how it affects the market. But I think the market's maybe just slowing down now, waiting for that item to come out. All right, any final questions? So far back, you got it, great. All right, coming up next week, Forex market analysis on Tuesday. Wednesday, we're going to be doing the double top, double bottom pattern. I'll take you through that. And then next Thursday, again, live market analysis. All right, so what's coming up next week. If you want to jump on board, simply go over to the webinar page and register your interest, and I'll see you there next week. Other than that, I'll just hang around 5 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. Any more questions, I'm happy to answer. Anything else you want me to review, just shout it up. Just having a look at that Euro Yen. It's very tempting, that Euro Yen. So Parback, I do have a seminar on pivot points. Yes, I do. Not sure when we're running that next, but yeah, I do have a webinar on pivot points and how to use them. All right, as we can see, the market's not doing much right this minute. Maybe just starting to turn over, but I think it's going to be waiting for the news to come out. So some of these pairs are at very good levels to trade down from, like the Euro Yen, the Pound Yen, and the Aussie Yen. Aussie Yen's just underneath that 9,400 handle. Got some more stuff coming in the chat. I just use my pivot points are used on the 50-minute charts pullback. So I use them as intraday support resistance levels, and I monitor them on the 50-minute chart. And if you want to get access to my pivot points, just contact Nathan, you'll set your charts up. All right, everybody, I think I'm going to call it a day there. Nothing much is happening. I'm giving you the levels that I'm watching and the price patterns that may be forming in the market at the moment. So, Slav, thank you. Same to you. So have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe. And I look forward to seeing you next week. So Parback, if you want to, on the pivot points, you probably have to wait for the next webinar to come out. Or if you contact Nathan, he might be able to organize something for you. All right. No worries. All right, everybody, thanks very much. If you're on our YouTube live stream, thanks for tuning in. You're more than welcome to attend our webinars. Simply use the registration link and join us. So thanks very much.